Morning, monkeys. Welcome to another episode of Coaster Monkey Studios. Back here in Monkeylandia. If you are just joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. Thanks so much for joining us here at Coaster Monkey Studios, where we do vlogs and play Planet Coaster and play RCT because we are enthusiasts here. And if this is your first time here, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Ready? Boom. Just like that, right? And if this is not your first time here and you're joining us again, well, thanks so much for coming back. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. I don't know why I'm speaking in the multiple, like I'm a deity or something, or like royalty. Speaking of royalty, what is this episode? What are we doing here? Well, we are building the Royal Circle. This is King Coaster's Circle, and this is 100% based on Columbus Circle in New York City, Manhattan. So if you guys don't know what Columbus Circle is, I suggest you go and Google it. It's actually pretty cool. What's great about this episode is this is you guys watching me fumble through the first time ever creating a circular thing that's huge, right? It's pretty big. I mean, you know, if you do the math on the sides, it's probably about 40 feet around, right? I'm totally guesstimating that size, by the way. I have no idea the real size of it. But yeah, so yeah, this is my first time doing this. It was a challenge. I'm not gonna lie. I actually went back before I did the still shots and the glamour shots, and I actually pulled the whole thing out and just reset it slightly. But as you do this, you know, some things that you'll take note on that I'm doing here is I'm working on the depth of the pathway around, because there is going to be a border that goes around this circle. But one thing you can notice that I do go back and fix, which I did this morning, is that none of the posts, you see them in the center there, they don't match up. You see, you thought I would have figured that out. Ooh, excuse me, I have to yawn. Wow, I don't know where that came from. It's 10:40 in the morning here. You think I would have been past the yawning stage. But yeah, so as I'm building this out, you know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how do I make it look solid, right? And I tell you, I make a ton of mistakes. You're going to see all of the mistakes here, and I'm going to point them out, and then we're going to show you the finished product without the mistakes. So you'll love that. But yes, I'm doing my little wrapper. Look at that. It looks so good. Right? Wrong. There's a lot of opportunity there, and I'll show you why in a moment. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to create some type of grassy foliage / landscaping, if you will, around this. Now, it wouldn't have been so abrasive or abrupt or huge if I had done it the way Columbus Circle does it, where there's walkways into the center and then the fountains in the very middle. But unfortunately, you can't make water happen above ground in this game, right? So what I did was I just turned it into a massive fountain, and I gave it this fun look here. And I kept the amount of water fountains that pop out of the side of this, you know? But it is a lot, and I didn't realize it as I was making it, how huge this can end up looking, or how densely packed this will end up looking with the water, and then you've got the foliage that I put in. I thought I'd try to make it easy and do it all, you know, on this one, and then duplicate this one, and yeah, that was a disaster. I had to go back and change everything. So if you learn anything from me, I will give you the best advice ever. Don't try to take the easy way out in this game, because you will always screw yourself. Working smarter, not harder. I did not work smart. See here, like I put 3 lights on this, thinking, oh my god, 3 lights is going to be great. Yeah, once you multiply it, it's like 60 lights, and it oversaturates the space. And I was all thinking I'm cool, like, I'm going to turn down the light color. Yeah, no, you totally failed miserably, bro. Like, miserably. But I do have to say, at this point now, I think maybe it's got to be about at least 5 days, 6 days I'm into playing the game at this point. where this video was taken. And I don't know. I don't know. I think it looks great, I guess. From a technical standpoint, it looks like a hot mess, you know. But from a non-technical standpoint, it looks awesome. See, and again, here I thought I was being fancy. I alternated heights. I alternated the direction they were facing. I spun them around. But when you multiply it like that, you end up in a very precarious situation. It duplicates it every single time you switch it and turn it. Yeah, I didn't think that. Now it looks like, see, look at all the repetition. Oh my goodness, it looks horrible. I go back and I change all of it. I fix all of it, I should say. I do love the color palette, though, I chose for this. The purple with the orange, and then I come back here. I don't know if I do it yet. No. This is where I work on the centerpiece. Love the centerpiece, by the way. So, again, Columbus Circle has this giant, massive spire column thing that sticks up in the center of its circle with Christopher Columbus standing on top. Now, all politics aside, the statue is very, very, very becoming of Mr. Columbus and the entire space. So here I'm trying to figure out how can I get a good spacing around, get a nice circular look to it. Because you've got these tiered moments that go up to the top of this column. And I used this technique that I saw, this wedge technique. Who did I see do this first? I want to give credit where credit's due, right? Probably Jonty Sparrow, when he was working on his Pinewood Hills Park. And he created that amazing roof over his gazebo. And that's where I saw this first. So thank you, John T. Sparrow. I appreciate it greatly. And then, obviously, the multitude of videos I watched afterwards with Silverette, and then Mike and Mask from Bro Nation. I mean, yeah, pretty dope process. So I lay out the first one here, and then I give it a little bit of depth, and I build out the whole side of it. And I like this because, it creates this star pattern. I think is kind of consistent with the rest of the fountain. You see, you've got those edges that stick out there. Where I put a photo point, by the way, so guests will stop and go, ooh, and pull out their iPhones and take pictures of the statue of King Coaster. But again, making sure that all of this was spot on was very important to me. And you'll notice you got this star pattern up top. And I love the way it looks. I think it's, again, this is such a focal piece to the park. You walk in, you walk down Broadway, and you get to Columbus Circle, which actually happens in real life. You go up Broadway in Manhattan, and you end up at Columbus Circle. So Broadway starts all at the very tip of Manhattan and goes all the way up to Columbus Circle. It's a very long street. I think it's, what is that, about almost half of the island, which is about 3 miles long, 4 miles. Half the length of the island. But yeah, so back to the thing here as I ramble. So we throw this in the center. And one thing I didn't realize, scale got to me on this one. I did not realize that the peeps would not be able to see this far down into the fountain. So what we're going to wind up doing at a later date is something really cool so you can see inside of here and get a nice bird's eye view. And I'm going to take a page from the book of Six Flags Great Adventure, where the skyride goes across the park from one side to the other. And you go right over that main fountain and main plaza area. And we're going to do the same thing here. And we're going to have a very similar feel with it. Where exactly it's going to be placed, I don't know. But it's definitely going to be the go-to, to be frank with you. Nope, sorry, bumped the mic there. So one thing about the Columbus Circle statue is it's very ornate. It's got a lot of different details to it. I really wish there would be like an anchor, a little anchor that I could have put on the side of this, because that's what goes up the side of this column. It's little anchors. It's very interesting. Search the mad dash for the column search. I mean, when I tell you I was going nuts, like, where's the column? What do I do? Oh my god! Look at how great though. I love that. I love it. And then with the coaster behind it. Now, one thing I do wish, again, you'll see it in the end shots and the beginning shots, but I do wish I'd kept line of sight in mind a little bit more with the crazy coaster or crazy taxi coaster entryway. It's a little hidden behind the statue, but the statue is the focal point, so I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. I wanted it to be off center. I just didn't realize it'd be a little bit too close to center. But that's for a later conversation when we... Oh, look at how cool that looks. That's for a later conversation when we actually do the crazy coaster theming, crazy taxi coaster theming. But super fun coaster. Actually, the layout is very similar to that of Skull Mountain. I was on Skull Mountain the other day, and unfortunately now, obviously, everything that's going on with COVID, the lights are on, or not the lights are on, but the doors are open because they recirculate the air inside with fans. Not recirculate, they circulate the air with fans. This way it's consistently blowing through. And there's no air conditioning inside. And what stinks about that, or what's great about that, excuse me, is that you get to see the layout of the coaster, and it looks very... I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh wow, yeah, that's what that coaster does. And we're done with the actual fountain, which is great. And we go back and we do a little bit of trimming there. I see some of that coconut sticking out. Coconut. But I come back now, and I'm going to do some garden work here. We're going to do some nice, really nice garden work here inside of these planters, these giant planters that wrap around. And I find a way to make it symmetrical, which was bugging me out at first. I did not know how to make symmetrical happen. And I figured it out. I was very excited. Patted myself on the back even. What I do love about this, though, is you guys get to watch me make a ton of mistakes and fix them. And I think that's what so many people run into, and why they get discouraged from playing this game, because they make mistakes. They don't know how to fix those mistakes. And I think having, somebody on YouTube being open to saying, okay, I'm making mistakes here. This is my issue. This is how I'm fixing it. I think it's super important, because as a new builder, as an experienced builder, sometimes you run into those moments where you're just like, oh my God, what do I do? I don't know how to fix this, and you flash back like, oh wait, that YouTuber, what's his name? I'm Coaster Monkey. Yeah, let me go there and try and find that episode where I learn how to do that, because that's what I've been doing in some of the things throughout my building, going back to some of the YouTube episodes that I've watched, where I've seen builders create the most amazing stuff, but also work through their hiccups and their mistakes and whatnot. See, look, like that, for instance, it's a hot mess. But don't worry, I go back and fix it all. All right, so this becomes a little tedious here. So I'm going to let this run so you guys can watch this. I really don't have much to say about it. I'm going to let this run, and I will catch back to you guys in a bit when we do something really awesome, and you'll see it. when it happens. Check you in a bit. And I'm back. And if you see what I did there, how cool was that, right? I figured out how to do it. So yeah, super stoked on that one. Got a really nice clean circular line on the inside there, and I mimicked that on the outside of the top two planters that we create here. The bottom ones are a little bit more complicated, so I did not want to go back and adjust those any further. I think they look fine as is. You know, again, you guys are the judge. So you tell me, what do you like? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you into this? Do you like hearing my voice when I talk over all this stuff? Do you want me to shut up and just let the music play? Somebody comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm very, very intrigued. And if you're learning something, awesome. And if you have something to teach me, even better. I want to know what you guys think. Definitely tell me, you know, what do I do? How do I fix things? How do I make things happen? I'm going to put it on you guys, man. Inspire me, and hopefully I'm inspiring you. But yeah, so as we move forward here, I'm wrapping up these planters, and we're doing some more coconut work with our coconut mulch, if you will. And we're going to do some more coconut mulch, and we'll fill all this in with some nice flowers and bushes, and have a nice solid clean look here at our King Coaster circle. And then we go back and we're going to do all the barriers and everything, obvi, because there's some serious need for barriers, like hardcore, but shh, don't tell anyone. So one thing about these types of areas, and it's a little difficult with the path tool, but again, like I've said in my past episodes, you've got to work with the path tool, not against the path tool, right? So symmetry is huge for me. I'm very all about symmetry. I don't know why. Asymmetrical for me bothers me. I get like twitches. So I try to do things in symmetrical format. And something like this, like a plaza, where you've got a circular center, you need that symmetry. And I feel like I do a pretty good job in making that a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it looks pretty solid from a symmetrical standpoint. Now, there are definitely some opportunities there. I do go back and I fix up, like I said, the actual fountain itself. And then the lighting, I go to a very soft, pale yellow instead of the orange. And from a nature standpoint, by this point, I feel like I'm like growing in my nature and my landscaping skill set. Because look at this. Right, I love the purple with the yellow and the orange. I feel like the color combinations work really well together. And this particular flower I use every year. I use it as flower. I use it as weeds. It's a really great weed. Like if you want to make something look like it's not been walked on like a path, or like busted up concrete, or you know, weeds coming out in between like a stone pathway, they're amazing to use. And as you see, I alternated many of these the plants there and the bushes. I deleted quite a few, actually, probably about half. And again, now what makes this look so natural is that I'm coming along with these yellow ones and I'm making them uneven, right? So a lot of the plants are almost in exactly the same place, except for the yellow flowers. And the yellow flowers give a really good variety, and helps it feel more natural, and it's not all on top of itself or repetitive, I should say. I love it. Very clean looking, very Disney-esque. And that's what I wanted. And again, this is where my struggle is. Do I want it to feel super realistic? Do I want it to feel over the top from a theming standpoint? So I'm kind of on the fence. I think I'm gonna have a little bit of both, and we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna figure it out. But get ready for the glamour shots, because the glamour shots are recent, right? So there's a lot of additions other than what you're seeing right there. And get ready. 3, 2, 1. Bow. Look at that. There you go, guys. King Coaster Circle. Thanks so much for joining us here at Coaster Monkey Studios. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't forget to drop them down below. And thanks again for joining. Catch you guys next time.